Her mom forced her to pose for Playboy when she was just 9 years old. At 12, she made her first movie, playing a prostitute. Years later, she acted in another, but they only cast her to exploit her innocence and sensuality. Since she wasn't getting other types of roles, she ended up in a film with some pretty steamy scenes. And because those around her couldn't see her any other way, a producer ended up doing the worst thing imaginable to her. She was considered the most beautiful woman of her time, her beauty dazzled everyone, and she rubbed elbows with the most important people. But inside, she carried the weight and frustration of being seen only as an erotic object. The woman I'm talking about is Brooke Shields, born in May 1965 in New York. Her parents met when they were young and at the peak of their careers. Her dad was a businessman, while her mom, Terry, was a self-sufficient woman with a promising career as a film actress and model, something really important to note. The problem? Terry's bright future got derailed when she got pregnant by her partner, forcing her to marry and abandon her career. When little Brooke was born, her mom saw her daughter as a goldmine because of the stunning beauty she showed even as a kid. All she had to do was wait for her to grow up and put her to work as a model. Her dad opposed turning this little girl into a moneymaker, so Terry divorced him. That divorce left the mom and young Brooke facing some tough financial struggles. That's why, at the first chance she got, Terry took Brooke to a photo shoot for a soap ad, kicking off her young modeling career. Keep in mind Terry knew this world better than anyone, so she used every resource she had to get Brooke into more and more ads, sparking an endless stream of entertainment gigs aimed at earning money and recognition, all under her mom's direction. With the funds Brooke brought in during her early years, Terry decided to move to a new city for fresh opportunities. Thanks to Brooke's modeling work and Terry's role as her manager, they both managed to build a better life. To give you an idea, by age 10, the girl had already appeared in shampoo, bandage, toothpaste, and fabric softener commercials, plus some small screen roles and countless photo shoots. The catch? This success came at the expense of her childhood. It's also worth noting that Terry's involvement in Brooke's work went way beyond just being a rep. She taught her everything needed to stand out, from poses to how to work a camera. And all this while she was just a kid. The saddest part? Sometimes these situations got so extreme they caused her physical pain, like when she shot a shampoo ad and a rope dug into her waist. Her mom knew about it but still cheered her on to push through. Plus, by this point, she was starting to develop a mild alcohol dependency. After all that work and painful moments, Brooke sometimes wanted to quit, but her mom started manipulating her with small rewards and reachable goals, setting targets like, "If you land this job, we can move to a bigger house." Brooke's popularity skyrocketed. Inevitably, top photographers and filmmakers soon spotted her huge potential. With her blonde hair, blue eyes, and slim figure fitting the beauty standards of the time, she went from being a sweet kid to being seen as an object of desire almost overnight. This shift showed up big time in her photo shoots, which evolved from innocent portrayals to more provocative and sensual images, crafted specifically to grab the attention of adult male audiences. Here's where the story gets heavy. During one of those countless shoots, a photographer had a twisted idea to take pictures of her looking erotically provocative and fully nude. Brooke wasn't well known yet, so those photos faded into obscurity, but you'll see how they'd come back years later to shatter her world. When Brooke turned 11, her life changed completely. Her rising fame pushed her to take a bigger step into movies, a move that would define her career before and after, when a famous French director offered her a lead role in Pretty Baby, a film about a girl working as a prostitute. If you haven't seen it, here's a quick rundown. Pretty Baby is set in the early 1900s in New Orleans' red light district, telling the story of a girl born in a brothel and what it meant to be exposed to that adult world so young. You could say the director meant it as a critique of the over-sexualization of girls in society. But ironically, Brooke was used the same way, both in this film and throughout her life. This marks a key moment in Brooke's life, filming the movie and its steamy scenes. There's a part where she has to kiss an adult man. She later shared in interviews that she felt nervous and even scared during that scene. Her inexperience showed. While kissing the actor, she wrinkled her nose and looked uncomfortable. And of course she was, since she'd never kissed anyone, being just 11. The little girl did her best to hide her discomfort while the director capitalized on it, knowing this controversial film would bring him cash and fame. Capturing such raw emotions, her first kiss, was a rare chance. She was unique. Or at least, that's how everyone who approached her started to see her. Brooke became a goldmine of new opportunities to explore. Living these experiences on a set with people much older than her led Brooke to develop a people-pleasing personality, seeking approval from the big shots who kept her going in that uncomfortable role. So she worked hard to make everyone happy with her performances. This took a toll on her personal life, even shifting her own identity to become who everyone, especially her mom, expected her to be. During filming, her mom got deeply involved in Brooke's scenes, advising and even overseeing to ensure promises to protect her delicate moments were kept. But she couldn't watch her all the time on set, as her alcohol addiction grew worse. It hit dangerous levels, turning Brooke's home into a nightmare. Her mom would come home drunk at night and lash out at her, leaving Brooke with no choice but to hide. So you could say her mom not only exposed her to a harsh world without proper protection but also failed to give her a safe haven. After Pretty Baby's release, Brooke showed a maturity beyond her years, evident in every media interview where she defended her acting work against the flood of criticism labeling her as just a kid exploited by a twisted industry. For these and many other reasons, Brooke's mom faced heavy scrutiny, especially on camera, for her clear role in exploiting her daughter's image. Yet she always justified it, claiming her daughter was as beautiful as a work of art and should be appreciated in all her forms. To Terry, there was no mistake in her actions. Pretty Baby quickly became a huge hit, making Brooke even more famous. Her face became a familiar sight on the streets, with people giving her praise and asking for autographs wherever she went. Interview invites, social events, and movie premieres piled up, making her one of the standout stars of that era. During this time, she met big celebrities and fulfilled her mom's dream of becoming a star. From there, Brooke kept modeling and was called for more films, which had moderate success but helped her gain experience. Still, at 15, she starred in The Blue Lagoon, a turning point in her career. It follows two teens who, after surviving a shipwreck, end up stranded on a paradise island. With no adults to guide them, they learn to survive and care for each other, or maybe more, as they explore this tropical haven. They face nature's challenges and discover their budding feelings and passionate desires. The movie clearly aims to show this shift from childhood to adolescence, something Brooke was partly experiencing too. Amazingly, it also became a box office hit, resonating with teens of the time as a kind of dreamy fantasy everyone wanted in on. With the Blue Lagoon's release, Brooke's development was once again under the spotlight. In every interview, the only question that seemed to matter was whether she'd had her first sexual experience, partly due to her naturally erotic role. But under the constant pressure from the world, Brooke couldn't fully connect with her sexuality, so she just dodged the topic. Meanwhile, she suffered silently under the ongoing criticism and judgments questioning her talent and legitimacy as an actress, which gradually chipped away at her self-esteem. Many saw her as someone who only succeeded because of her looks, ignoring the huge sacrifices she made, including her own childhood. Her newfound fame reached so far that, at 16, she got a unique offer. Calvin Klein contacted her to star in a campaign for their new jeans. Brooke was excited, as it gave her a chance to do a photo shoot with some acting thrown in, something she loved and nailed. Soon, stunning magazine ads popped up all over the city, and even on TV, featuring her in sexy Calvin Klein jeans with a highly troubling slogan, "You know what's between Miss Calvin and me? Nothing." That line, paired with the provocative images of the young girl, sparked a wave of criticism and debates about sexualization in advertising and its impact on how the public views youth. Though it stirred major controversy at first, the campaign ended up a success. Now, every girl wanted to look like the incredibly gorgeous Brooke Shields, bringing her even more attention and big career wins. TV shows, promotions, magazine covers, events, and more parties. But there's a catch: all this was happening without proper care. Her mom, despite being thrilled with the results of her efforts, kept drinking uncontrollably. Plus, because of the roles she played and the ad messages she was part of, people boxed her in more and more as something she didn't truly represent. Brooke was now seen simply as a sensual product to profit from, just a pretty girl. If things were already rough for her personal life, they were about to get worse. One bad day, both mom and daughter got a call that could ruin their lives. A photographer close to them said he was about to release some compromising photos of Brooke. Remember when, at 9, her mom took her to endless shoots to make money? Well, one of those was for a magazine. Not just any magazine, but Playboy. During a session, Brooke had to pose nude. The goal was to show girls in two styles, one innocent, the other provocative and sensual. Keep in mind this was 50 years ago, when morals were different back then. They were published in Playboy Press, a magazine meant to showcase new models, but the photos slipped by unnoticed and were forgotten. Yet now, at 16, they're back to cash in on exploiting her image and sexuality. The photographer who took them wants to sell them for big money under the title Brooke Shields Nude. Brooke's mom is furious, knowing her daughter's at the height of her career and doesn't want this to ruin her reputation or devastate her emotionally, so she files a lawsuit to block their release again. Brooke fights to not be seen as a sex icon, but once again, her efforts fall flat. The public scandal puts her back in the hot seat with the same issues, only worse this time, since she and her mom lose the case, and the photos get published. Now, it's not just the media sexualizing her. People start seeing her that way too, leading to one of the worst things that can happen to a woman. Then another acting opportunity comes her way. The problem? It's a story focused on the one topic everyone seemed obsessed with, her sexual awakening. The film, Endless Love from 1981, requires her to act in an explicit first-time scene. But since she'd never had an intimate relationship in her private life, filming it was incredibly tough. The most disturbing part? To get more genuine expressions, the director caused her physical pain to make her face show pleasure mixed with the discomfort of shooting that scene. Brooke's mind dissociated from her body, watching herself in third person. Dissociation is a defense mechanism that can help during traumatic or highly stressful situations, letting someone emotionally detach from the event. For Brooke Shields, it happened during a painful, uncomfortable scene, suggesting her mind used it to cope. Beyond the obvious psychological damage these situations caused, the bigger issue persisted. The industry saw her solely as a sexual object to profit from. If she didn't act in other types of roles, it's because no producer invited her. They only considered her for this kind. As Brooke grew, so did her need to socialize. That's why she decided to go to college, partly to distance herself from the challenges of having an alcoholic mom, but also to prove to the world she was more than a pretty girl. At first, things were rough. She faced a distorted view of herself from others. Her life had been one controversy after another since childhood, so her peers kept their distance, leaving her alone. For a moment, Brooke considered dropping out, but her mom encouraged her to finish her degree. That support improved their relationship over time. As expected, she gradually found her place at school, joining a musical comedy workshop where she finally made lasting friendships and, for the first time, felt loved for being herself. With her diploma finally in hand, Brooke felt confident, hopeful, and full of future plans, so she returned to Hollywood to restart her career in the industry that raised her. But she met a cold rejection. The doors that once opened easily were now shut. The industry that exploited her child image no longer saw her as a desirable object, since she was now 23 and other girls had taken her place. After this harsh rejection, Brooke, as always, got dragged into more controversies. This especially happened after her friendship with Michael Jackson. The media twisted their bond to profit from fake news and made-up gossip, spinning a non-existent romance that Brooke struggled to control. Trying to debunk it, she mistakenly revealed she'd had her first relationship. The problem? Media scrutiny killed it shortly after it went public, showing once again how much public comments affect her. And now, during this period, she hit the lowest point in her tormented life. After failing to return to acting, a man approached her with potential acting projects. But before showing her the proposal, he invited her to dinner. The night ended in a hotel room with Brooke vulnerable to a man who, like the entire industry since she was little, saw her only as an erotic object. Brooke realized the danger, but it was too late to escape. That man proceeded without her consent, abusing his power to overpower her. Paralyzed by fear, shock, helplessness, and betrayal, she suffered in silence as a part of her soul died in that tragic assault, a scar that would last forever. Here, I pause to raise an important question. Is Brooke's mom to blame for all the bad things her daughter went through? Looking back, she was the one who first plunged her into entertainment when Brooke wasn't even aware of it. She also took her to that Playboy photographer and left her alone on sets for hours. To figure this out, we need to consider the social context of the time. They lived in a pretty macho society where women's opportunities were limited, confining them to the home. So women often had to find alternative ways to earn money, and modeling was a lucrative option. Remember, Terry started this to secure a better life after the divorce. Given that this was what she knew and saw as normal, it's clear she never saw a problem with Brooke entering the industry, though, sadly, she never recognized the real dangers it posed to her daughter. I'm not excusing the mom's responsibility here. I'm just setting the context so you can share your thoughts in the comments. As an adult, Brooke found comedy and university theater as an outlet from the pressures of her personal and professional life. Her comedy talent opened new doors, letting her explore parts of herself the film industry never valued, earning her laughs and applause. She rediscovered her love for acting, but this time on her terms. This new world gave her a chance to appear in an episode of the iconic series Friends. Best of all, her performance was a hit with viewers. It seems the hypersexualized image the media had built around her for years is slowly fading. Her popularity as a comedy actress grew, along with her influence as a public figure. She's invited to speak at events and universities, sharing her journey from teen icon to respected actress. Brooke has her first daughter, bringing her great joy but also one of her toughest battles, postpartum depression. This dark period was one of the hardest in her life, marked by isolation and despair that challenged her worldview and identity as a mom. Still, Brooke chose to speak out publicly. Her honesty comforted other moms in similar situations, turning her into an advocate who helps mothers facing the same and works to destigmatize it. Over time, Brooke released a second book detailing her fight with postpartum depression and her path to recovery and personal well-being, carrying the scars of an industry that repeatedly shattered her image and mental stability. In the present 2024, Brooke enjoys a stable family life with her husband and daughters, feeling stronger than ever and gaining valuable lessons from her experiences. Brooke Shields' case might seem like a distant story. Today, posing at that age for that magazine would be unthinkable, even criminal. But if we look around, we can spot current practices that objectify minors for economic gain on social media. Suddenly, we see kids being objectified by their own parents or guardians for likes, work, or money. And like Brooke Shields, these kids have no clue what's happening or what they're being exposed to. Maybe the most troubling part is that if this keeps going and people do it because it works, it's because there's a big market for it. If it sells, it's because lots of people are buying it. The question arises, will these practices we see today be the same ones we'll look back on with shame in the future, like Brooke Shields' whole story? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. Drop your thoughts in the comments. But what I do want to encourage with this video is reflection. Pay attention to how history tends to repeat itself, just in different forms, and use that to identify it and make the best choices so we don't face the future with regret.